Log number 13. I'm recording this on the 19th of January, on the Friday, and should be out on the 22nd of this month. In this log here, I wanted to touch upon a few crucial components on the Stonemason's journey and refer to some of the things that I said in the previous one towards the end about how this theme has brought up unresolved issues in my past and how I'm resolving them through the story. To begin this sort of conversation, I would surprisingly say how I've been noticing, and even in the logs, sort of me keeping this up to date. I've been noticing how weekly I'm having sort of like jumps of creativity and sort of understanding different things that before I would have needed months to do, and now I can easily sort of catch up within weeks. And the reason why I say that it's because as my previous log was sort of concluding, and I was sort of saying how some parts of my past that were undealt with surfaced up, and I had to deal with them, and it was a bit difficult for me in the week prior. Um, I began noticing how as soon as I said that, the weekend followed, and my mind was processing what was happening and what was sort of ailing me. And towards the beginning of the new week and the beginning of the new design, as this last week has done, I slowly began mending it fast to the point of I became quite sort of free in terms of that issue that I had. I accepted it, and as soon as I accepted it, it sort of the mending process began, and things began healing, and I wasn't fixating on it anymore, and it was surprising for me because I thought it was going to take months. Usually, would take me that long, or perhaps some along those lines, and it didn't. And I was there thinking, what the hell just happened? And I can't quite put it into like exactly what happened, but the concept of me expressing and putting into words what has been sort of embedded in me, and having to talk about it on the logs here, and at the same time see it through my art, and depict it, and sometimes contemplate on it, or extend it in my day-to-day life. I began sort of understanding myself a lot better, and understand why things happened the way they did. And it's been fascinating. And so that issue that I was referring to last week just got resolved in the beginning of this week without a lot of effort, which was very peculiar. First time of me having that. And through that sort of issue, I began doing the new design. The new design was prepared and everything, and I have to say, I'm picking up the pace. It's Friday now. I've finished the work week, and I've pretty much done like 55% of it done, and I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy that the concept that I had with the papers that I showed before in the previous log, how each paper was reacting and why I chose the paper that I chose, it proves my theory, and things are looking uh, great without a lot of effort, and it's progressing quite well. My emotions are being depicted quite well. The story behind this design is sort of coming along nicely, so I'm pretty happy with it. With sort of the ease that sort of experience took, and sort of the freedom of me looking a bit further without having to worry a bit too much, I started thinking about the deadline that I have. And primarily, I started thinking, well, this arc, the first arc that I'm working on right now, is sort of set towards a setting in Christmas. That was initially the story was supposedly had to come out on the 25th of December of last year. But given I'm, every time that I begin dabbling into something, I uncover different things. I want to add different things, and given that I can, I commence in doing so. So I was thinking, what if I put a year from the date that I was supposed to release for the actual release? So what that means is the actual release of this chapter will be on the 25th of December or 2024, which is a long time from now. And the reason why I started dabbling in and entertaining this idea was because of how many things I begin sort of elevating in the story, and having this time would really allow me to add the things that I want. And even if, let's say, I finish it in the next 2 months, this arc, I can slowly begin on the next one. And whenever that deadline comes, I can just release it and continue forward. I quite like that idea because I'm learning so much from this theme, and it's beyond just a theme for me anymore. I think you can pretty much hear it in my logs how there's a lot of learning from my side of things, and a lot of healing, and a lot of trying to contemplate on how this person's life would look like, and having to double in different parts of time and space to narrate and create this. At the same time, how daily with things that are happening, I begin having different ideas and different perspectives. I think it might just be the direction I will take this. I will have this whole year to really create something that elevates and pushes forward my abilities as a creator, but at the same time to completely overhaul the submission of me creating a new theme. It's going to give me the substantial amount of time to really make something different. And I already feel it, how the ideas that I have, the ideas that I'm going to be slowly talking about as time progresses and as things begin to move, it's sort of shaping up the foundation of what I want my emphasis in art to be. And I think this can only be achieved with time, to untangle those old patterns that I'm slowly erasing, and creating better connections within the designs and my daily life, and how I treat myself and how I treat others, and how this correlates with the designs and the theme, and how this character is coming, everything. And I think that will be my direction going forward, having this substantial amount of time to do something truly unique. And in the meantime, given that I'm going to be working on commissions and things of that nature, that they will require a bit of a break, and sort of breaking some of the patterns that I've been creating, I think it's going to be very beneficial. In truth, I've seen how breaking patterns begins to breathe joy into one's life, and introduce the excitement that slowly gets suffocated by repeating the same things again. And at the beginning of this story, and how I was thinking about it, it was very methodical. I would have had to do in chapters, in terms of, this is for the writing, the drawing, and the execution of putting everything together, and it was sort of a very structural sort of schedule. And I realized how it became sort of daunting, because I was feeling different things daily, and as I was saying, things of my past begin sort of appearing, and I have to deal with them. And as I'm dealing with something, I want to represent it in some shape or form. And that's when flow became quite intrusive, because I could only talk about this with the audience, but I couldn't really put it in the work. I could, yeah, maybe color wise and the mood as I was painting, but it wasn't going beyond a two dimensionality. And now that I have this freedom to really introduce it through other means, through other storytelling abilities, I am sort of excited to see and feel these different feelings. And I welcome them, and I welcome every opportunity that it has me sort of hold myself and consider what's happening, and then really answer that question before moving forward. And I think this is the interesting thing about the stonemason, because not only am I depicting myself, I'm depicting this person that I've never done before. I've never really depicted an individual, but at the same time, I'm having to live every moment of his life in my mind to depict it, which is a bit weird when you put it in that context. An additional thing that I wanted to add was that now that I have this sort of this year deadline, I can begin thinking how I'm gonna be showcasing some of the designs that I've done, because it's a long time for me not to show anything in fear of spoilers. So there's um there's a contemplation that needs to be done on my side to sort of consider how I'm gonna be showing you some crucial parts of the journey to see how things are evolving. That's a food for thought for me that I need to tackle. And I think it's gonna come down very naturally in how I'm gonna do that. So yeah. But yeah, primarily this is what I've done this week. I was thinking about this and completing the design, the sort of measuring part of the design. It's going very, very smoothly. The week that is coming now, it's gonna be the second week into the measurements, which is gonna be the finalization of it. There is the figure that I need to do and some props, which is left on the second week, which is this week right now. And the third week, which is going to be the week after this, is probably going to be the values of shadows and the lights and the shading, basically. I think that will be done. That will conclude this design. I think things are becoming more effortless the more I struggle with them, because in the previous design I struggled with having to redo things and test things out, and now that I came back to and understood sort of a foundational thing, I can see in this design that there's effortlessly progressing without a lot of sort of issues. And when issues occur is when I again begin to learn new things and question new things, and it's very fascinating. I think this is going to be happening a lot. So yeah, this is log number 13, and I'm happy to continue moving forward, knowing that I have a lot of time and the potential that this has. So yeah, let's see how this week goes, and yeah, I'll keep you guys informed.